Hey y'all, let's make shepherd's pie. I'm starting off by peeling my washed potatoes. So I have a piece of plastic wrap on my cutting board to help with my cleanup after I peel. So when I'm done, I just lift it up and throw it in the garbage. And there's no starch or potato juice all over my cutting board. To my left, I have a pot of cold water that I'm going to put my potatoes into boil, and I'm just cutting them into large chunks because we are making mashed potatoes out of them. Fun fact for you, it is better to cook your potatoes in cold water first than to drop them into boiling water, because cooking them from cold water up until it gets hot helps everything cook evenly, so you're not, poking potatoes every 2 seconds trying to figure out if everything is done. My potatoes are on the stove now, and I added a little bit of salt to the water, and we're just gonna let that cook until the potatoes have softened. So this recipe is very nostalgic for me because if some of you guys watched my Q&A video, I used to own a catering company. And within my catering company, I had meal prep services. And one of the meals that I had in the meal prep service was shepherd's pie. And it was this recipe. Of course, this is a plant-based shepherd's pie. So the meat, if you will, or the protein is going to be lentils, even though traditionally it's ground beef. But we're going to use lentils. And it just reminded me of that because that was a meal prep option that I made often. And it really just reminded me of that. And now I'm just glad that I'm able to show you guys how to make it so you could have it, whenever you'd like in the comfort of your home. So I did pre-cook my lentils, which I have right here. I use 1 cup of dried lentils to 3 cups of vegetable broth and cook that for about 40 minutes until it was softened. These onions are killing me. My eyes are watering right now, guys. But if you wanted an easy way to peel your garlic, all you have to do is smash it on the side of your knife. You just put it underneath and smash it, and then it releases the garlic clove. Ooh. The garlic clove. Also in this recipe, I am using some frozen mixed vegetables that I have right here. I picked out these string beans, one because I think string beans would be weird in shepherd's pie, but also I just don't like string beans anymore, y'all. At one point, I was obsessed with green beans, and that is all I would eat for weeks. Now to the point where I really just can't eat them anymore. So I picked them out. And I could have, cut up my own carrots and got like separate peas and corn, but why do that if it already comes in one bag? Today we're working smarter, not harder. So I have all my mise en place ready, which is just French for everything in its place, basically, or just all your prep work for the meal that you're cooking. So let's move over to the stove. To my preheated pan, I'm adding in some olive oil. Then I'm going to put in my chopped onion and garlic. Next, I'm adding in some tomato paste. And I'm just going to cook this down to kind of like evenly coating the onion and garlic with it. And we're going to let it cook for like a minute. Now I'm adding in the star of the show, which is my cooked lentils. And we're also going to add in my dry seasoning, which is some onion, garlic, chili powder, cumin, oregano, thyme, salt, and other spices. We're going to coat and stir everything together with our seasoning mixture and our tomato paste, onion, garlic. And then I'm going to add in some broth. You could use either vegetable, you could use unchickened chicken, or you could just use some water. But we love flavor here, so we're going to use some unchickened broth. I'm gonna stir this all together, and then we're going to cover it and let it cook down for about 20 minutes. We just reached the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to take off this lid and stir my lentils together. And we're going to let it cook uncovered for another 10 minutes. The 20 minutes are up, and now my lentils are right where I want them to be. So I don't want any liquid in the pan anymore, but I also don't want them to be like dried out and sticking to the pan either. So right now we are in a perfect medium. So now I'm going to add in my frozen vegetables. And I'm going to fold this in and let it heat through. Now this step is completely optional, but I wanted my base to have a little bit of spice to it. So I'm gonna add in some Choula Chipotle Hot Sauce. Again, completely optional. I'm just gonna put a few dabs in there and stir it together. I'm going to add my lentil mixture to a baking dish. And we're going to press this down into an even layer and start working on our mashed potatoes. I have my potatoes on very low heat, and now I'm going to mash them up. I'm going to add in my plant milk. You could use any plant milk that you like. I'm also going to put in some plant-based butter, fresh garlic, and some spices, which is salt, onion, garlic, and black pepper. We're going to combine this until the butter melts and everything's incorporated. Now I'm going to add in some freshly chopped chives for some added color and flavor. My mashed potatoes are done, so let's move back over to the table to finish setting up the shepherd's pie. Now I'm just going to plop our mashed potatoes right on top. If you want us to be extra fancy, you could put these mashed potatoes in like a piping bag with a frosting tip and make different swirls and designs with the shepherd's pie if you're feeling really fancy. But I'm not feeling fancy today, so we're not going to do that. So I'm just putting the mashed potatoes on top, and we're going to spread it out until it's an even layer. With spreading out the mashed potatoes, you have to be really gentle because at this point the mashed potatoes is sticking to your lentils. So if you spread too rigorously, the lentils will pull up, and then you won't have this pretty layer of mashed potatoes and then the secondary layer of the lentils. Now I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes to let everything heat through and kind of just have the flavors marry each other. My shepherd's pie is out of the oven and it has a nice beautiful crust on top of it, so let's get to plating. I had some leftover gravy in my fridge, so I just heated it up. We're going to put that at the bottom of our plate. I will put the recipe for this gravy in the description. Then I'm going to cut a nice square out of our shepherd's pie. And I'm going to use my fish spatula, which has a little bit more bend to it, to get everything out of the pan. So we're just going to go in gently. Then I'm just going to sprinkle it with some extra chives just for, you know, razzle dazzle. And there you have it, our shepherd's pie. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, healthy does not mean boring. See you next time.